Everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to make a DIY Dollar Tree easy and kid-friendly craft. We're going to make these mummies. We're going to use some recycled jars or this carvable pumpkin from the Dollar Tree, Googly Eyes from the Dollar Tree, and also we're going to use this rolled gauze. If you're going to do all three, you might need two. I just used one, but you know. White paint if you want. As you'll see, there's two options. You can either spray paint them or white paint. So I'm going to show you first that we painted them. I didn't use the spray paint on these projects because I wanted to make it, like I said, kid friendly, and I wanted to show you how kids could do it. This apple barrel paint is non-toxic from Walmart. If you guys have been around, you've seen me use this for everything, and I still have over a half a bottle. So it really does, you really do get the bang for your buck when you get the big one too. And I'm just using a foam brush, and I'm just painting it so simple. Now, it's hard to tell on the camera with the white paint, but this isn't full coverage. And to give that like aged mummy look, I didn't want full coverage. I almost want a little bit of the orange to show through. See, there you go. So I wanted to show you up close. One of the things that I'm going to show you is that this project, if you have googly eyes and if you have gauze, you could be free upcycled. Where I'm going to show you three versions. I'm going to show you the pumpkin, then I'm going to show you a painted jar, and then I'm going to show you an unpainted jar. And then I'm going to show you different eyeball combinations. So as you saw in the beginning, I had two sets of googly eyes from the Dollar Tree. One of them came out for the Halloween season. It's with the colored eyes. And one of them is in their regular craft section with their regular craft stuff. But they do sell googly eyes at other craft stores and at Walmart if you can't find them at the Dollar Tree. And they're not very expensive. I like to find the multi-pack. I was a little disappointed in the ones from the Dollar Tree because the Halloween ones, the big ones were yellow, the next size were all green, the next size were blue, and the next size were brown. So if you wanted to do multiple sizes, they had to be in different colors. And the same thing with the black ones. They only had like big, and I know this is going to sound crazy, but they only had like a really big, a medium, and a small. Like there's a big size difference between the big and the medium. You know, much more bigger than from the medium to the small. So what I've done is I'm just taking a circle, I'm taking my chalk pen, and I'm just tracing a circle around there. Because I thought with the painted jar, I would show you how cute it was if his face was the shape of a face and the eyeballs, because we're going to make these as luminaries if you want. Obviously, you could skip this step and just let the kids paint the whole jar. Okay? And again, this one also, not full coverage, because you do want that sort of aged look, you know, rustic farmhouse look that we're going for kids anyway. And you know, I always perfectly imperfect. Imperfect is perfect for me. I don't know. I have different things I say all the time. So, if you've been around, you know that. So, what I used was a white chalk pen, but you could different techniques. You could cut a piece of contact paper and use it as like masking. You know, you just cut an oval out of a piece of contact paper and use it to mask. If you have little kids who want to leave the face and are really little, you can mask the face off for them so that you could just paint over it. And again, if it bleeds under, that's okay. It's part of the charm of the craft. And these two jars, I know everybody's always recycling mason jars. Mason jars I have to buy. These were old spaghetti sauce jars, and I love them. They still have the mason jar feel. They have like the embossed glass too, so you can see they have measurements. It doesn't say mason. All right, so now I'm just picking out the eyeballs. For this one, I decided to go with two of the same size. I picked the two blue eyes, which I thought honestly would be creepy because I have blue eyes. Well, sometimes they're gray. Depends on who you talk to, what I'm wearing. No, I'm kidding. So I thought I'd try two of the same eyes just to show you here. There's two different ones. And here is what two of the same ones look like. And I'm just using a dollop of hot glue. Now, if you're making this for kids, there's options of glue dots. There is the option of using like a E6000 or even like Elmer's glue or Aleene's tacky glue would be better than Elmer's glue because the Elmer's glue would slide right off. But for the speed of drying, for the patience of children, that's why I decided to use the glue gun. So maybe that's the only thing that mom and dad will have to help, unless your kid has a low temp glue gun. So what I decided to do was, this is a 3-inch roll of gauze, and I decided to cut it in half. I should always get my good scissor when I'm cutting fabric, but I just sometimes don't. I really wanted it to have that sort of frayed edge, so it would look like a raggedy mummy, you know. But it was a little bit more of a pain in the tush to cut the whole roll. So if I was you, and you'll see in a second, I'm just going to start to unroll it and cut it as I go, okay? And I'm just going to fast forward here for a second, and I've cut off enough to go ahead and start this jar. And here's another place where you might use hot glue, but again, if you use Aleene's tacky glue, you can glue the gauze to itself. And one of the reasons I like this cheap gauze from the Dollar Tree is that it's not cotton. It's basically a rayon, and it's cling. For those of you who don't know, gauze sometimes comes in cling version where it sticks to itself, which is what makes this easy for kids. You know, kids can, if you cut the gauze for them, as you wrap the mummy, it'll stick to itself, so you don't have to keep constantly gluing. I only glued when I got to the ends of rolls, and then I would just, you know, glue it so it wouldn't unravel on me, as you see here. Oh yeah, I didn't do the very beginning. So what I like to do is I like to just go around the whole jar, and then I like to cross over when I get to the end. I'm just going to take one piece and go like almost diagonally over the mummy, just to make it look like a little bit more, you know, raggedy. And mummies are personal interpretation. I know that that's going to sound silly, but the you know, mummies historically are wrapped tightly, but you know how, you know, Hollywood mummies or you know, Halloween mummies are always coming apart. So you get that look how you want. So you can see here, I decided to go ahead and cut this some more of the gauze to add to finish up this jar. Now, if you know, if you, while handling it, if you notice the gauze is slipping and you want the kids, you know, you want to glue it down for the kids so it doesn't come off, if they get frustrated, you could do that. You know, and like I said, if you use the Aleene's tacky glue, which they sell at the Dollar Tree, it's just a thicker sort of Elmer's glue, and it will hold just that much better, you know, and dry that much faster. And as I start to cut the roll in half, I'm left with like a bunch of loose single strings that make a big ball in the middle. And I'm going to end up using that on the pumpkin later, but you could just toss that if you want, or you can add it to your mummy, whatever you think looks cute. And then, like I said, we're just going to go one diagonal across this way. It just makes it look less like wrapped in gauze and more like a mummy. I know that that sounds silly. It's little touches like that that make it look quote unquote authentic. Yeah, because we have a lot of mummies in the world that are made out of jaws. So there you go. And I got this is the chopping mat from the Dollar Tree. If you've been around for a while, I had a black board that I used for painting, and it's all fudged up, so I got this to protect from the hot glue as per requested. By some of you were like, get something for under the glue for your table. The table's for mica, so I wasn't worried about it, but you know, I do what I ask. I do what I ask most of the time, right? So this is just me cutting the ribbon, the gauze apart. If you can find 1-inch or 1/2-inch gauze, go for it, because I think that's probably the best thing that you could possibly do. But like I said, I like this one from the Dollar Tree because it's rayon, and it is frayy, and it does stick to itself really nicely. Is frayy a word? Well, maybe. Also, for those of you who have not worked with jars before, the hot glue tends to dry a little faster on it, I guess because the glass cools them down. So that also helps with the project. So I've only let this pumpkin and that jar dry as long as I've been shooting. You basically have watched. They do dry fast, this paint does. But they're not 100% dry. But you know what? You have little kids. If you're impatient, just so you know that you can do it while they're still wet with paint. Just don't get it on your clothes because this paint won't come off. All right. And for this jar, I've put the pumpkin off to the side to finish drying. And for this jar, I've taken just the black eyes. And I've taken 2 different sizes. And that was my plan, to make them look like googly, goofy. I think like the first one was more of an authentic looking, scary-eyed pumpkin. I mean, a pumpkin mummy. And this one is like a goofy one. So again, I've just taken 1 drop of glue to fasten the beginning of the gauze in the back. And then I've just wrapped it. You know, like I said, this is so easy. And even if the kids overwrap the eyes, which totally isn't a big deal because it's all a matter of personality, you can always pull them down. And if you feel that it's unnecessary, you know, if you feel it's necessary, you can go and glue it underneath. It's totally a matter of personal preference. Okay. And then I'm going to do the same thing like I did with the last jar, is I'm going to crisscross some pieces just to give that added extra authentic mummy look. And so there's been a lot of different DIYs for Halloween, and I did a bunch last year that I could probably do some tutorials on. But just for those of you who don't know, I mostly just do stuff that I can use because I don't have a lot of disposable income. So I try to teach you things, but teach you things that I'd be able to use in my house or give to a friend that I know can use it. But I try to do them for almost no money because I have almost no money. So now we're going to do the pumpkin. Now, if those of you who've never hot glued onto this pumpkin before, hot glue and this pumpkin aren't the best of friends. But what I actually noticed, and I think I'm going to zoom in here for a second, because I glued the eyeball, and the eyeball, inside the eyeball started to steam, like fog up because of the hot glue. And it takes a really long time to cure to this pumpkin, which was just a little bit, just so you guys know, have a little patience with it, okay? And for this one, I decided to do the colored eyes, but I did 2 different colors and 2 different sizes. And I used one of the ridges of the pumpkin to make it almost look like his nose. I spread these a little further apart. And again, that's just for design. All right. And now this one, we're not going to fully cover in gauze. I thought he looked really cute with just minimal amount of gauze on him, as you could see. I've gone a couple of times around his head. I think that the fact that we didn't paint him solid white, he still has like, you know, bits of orange coming through, really added to that, you know, that cute little pumpkin mummy feel. Okay. I wish I had, well, obviously you guys know I wish I had kids, but I wish I had a kid available to do this craft with me so that I could show you how easy it is for kids. But I think you guys, if you have kids and you crafted with them, you could see how easy this really is. All right. And I just wanted to show you 3 different styles and 3 different techniques. So now I'm just going to glue underneath, and it's, like I said, it's hard to glue the glue to the pumpkin, but you can glue the gauze to the pumpkin, but you can glue the gauze to itself. So, okay, I'm just gonna let it set, and that's him. So he does look sort of like sickly, doesn't he? I love it. So now I decided to take that big wad of string that came out of the middle of the gauze, and I'm just gonna pop it right on his stem, shape it up like a stem, and then that's him. So there they are, guys. I hope you really enjoyed this tutorial. I have 2 tea lights at each the luminaries, just the light up tea lights from Dollar Tree. If you do, give this video a thumbs up. If you like it, share it with friends and family, and anybody you know who's got kids who want to make these cute little Halloween, really inexpensive crafts. And if you haven't yet subscribed to my channel, join the crazy family. We'd love to have you. And when you're done subscribing, a little bell will pop up on the side of the subscribe button, and that's the notification bell, and YouTube will let you know when I upload a new video. And as always, for those of you who are new, take care, God bless, and we'll see you next time. Bye! Happy Halloween. Woo.